And we're live.
We are.
Welcome,
Good evening, all.
welcome back, people. God, you know what? I was just thinking before. I was like, you know what? These they come round so fast, don't they? These Fridays, you know.
Yeah.
You don't realise how fast they come round, you know. Anyway, guys.
I absolutely love a Friday, mate. Fridays are made for a bit of reefing and a bit of fun.
Yeah. Well, we're looking a bit hot and flustered, guys. I literally finished at 7:15. Got driven home, and you know where everything usually runs smoothly, yeah? What happens? You're stuck in traffic, yeah? You're like, what in the hell? This is just crazy. So, yeah, managed to get. I literally got in the house for like 10 to 8. So, like, literally set it up, turn the computer on. Computer goes, we need an update. Laptop needs an update. I'm like, you are.
Oh, you and technology. You and technology.
I just give up, mate. I give up.
And you work in Manchester, so what do you expect? The roads are just jammed up every day in Manchester, aren't
they? That's what it is, mate. That's what it is. Anyway, evening all. What I'll do is I'll have a scout down and see who's joining us in the house today, from the top. And
get some close-up action.
Yeah. Southeast Reefers in the house. Russell Brooks has also joined, and Tony, as always, Tony's joined as well. Does that look a little bit too small for you, that writing? Or should I move on to something else?
No, that's tiny. Absolutely.
So what have you done? Have you used your template that you're paying for?
Used the opticians one. Opticians test it is.
Yeah, you should have got Specsavers.
You should get
a refund for that.
Yeah, no, I think I can change it. Let me see. Right, let's see. That one, yeah? Right, splendid. We'll have that one then. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Let's move on. Tony, hi, Steve, fellow reefers. Appreciate it, Tony. Thanks for joining in, mate. As always. Haley's in the house, and Julie. Julie's joined us. How's things with you, Julie? Nice to see you, Julie. Yeah, hope you're keeping well. Other people are doing your usual job, so it's glad to have you back, the timekeeper. John's in the house.
Are you saying the people from last week done a bad job then, Steve?
I
think they've done a good job. They reminded us
did
at 10 o'clock.
Yeah. I think we overran by 2 minutes, didn't we, last week? I'm sure we overran by 2 minutes.
We did, yeah. Julie's the timekeeper for sure. So, and Tech has joined. Evening, ladies and gents. Hope we're all having an amazing time tonight. Absolutely. Skids is in the house. Howard, as always, is in the house. Nice. Good evening, Howard.
So Howard, have you got the loft open?
Hey, do you know what, Paul? Genuinely, that works.
Did it?
The science works. I did it. For the 2 days, my missus was like, what are you doing with the loft hatch open? I'm like, just wait, you wait. The house will be cool in no time. And it did. It genuinely works. For a hot house, it's a good little tip, that was. So thanks for that, mate.
Stu's in the house. Julian is in.
Evening.
Dan's Reef, as always, is in the house.
He's in.
Fish Palace is in the house as well. Even Fish Palace, how's it going?
Fish Palace is here. He's normally on holiday, to be fair.
Yeah, Andy's already slagging me off. Bus is late, Mogsy. Yeah. The bus was on time today, mate. It was just me.
Andy's at the bus stop waiting for the number that you use to drive, and you've taken a detour to get home.
Absolutely, mate. Listen, we can't miss this. Kim, evening, Kim. Hope you're well. Peter, hold on. Jay is on time. Exactly, yeah.
It's school holidays, so I'm not rushing round.
Exactly. You put your shopping away early this time, didn't you?
Shopping's well away. You know what it is as well? You know what I think it is? I'm going to blame my missus. So my missus is in Liverpool. My missus is in Liverpool tonight. So
that's why you're blaming her, because she's not there, mate.
I'm the bravest husband ever. I'll blame her.
I'm gonna message her on Facebook.
No, don't. Don't.
Just tune in and watch what Jay said at around 39 seconds.
Mate, she's normally peppering me with loads of jobs before I come on here. So now tonight it's been chilled.
Andrew's in the house. Phil, Darren, as always, and Christian from Signature Flag Season.
Hey, Christian. Well. All right, mate.
And Gwonk Reef Keeping. all the way from the US, as always. He's
nice one, mate.
Nice to see you,
we
mate.
love to have international reefers in the chat.
Absolutely. And finally, I don't think I've missed anyone out here. AB Reef and Haley.
Nice one, Adam.
So I think, if any of you have not said hello, there's 41 people already watching. They've not said 41.
Wow. It must be raining outside. We've got 41 on already.
41 already, and we're only 5 minutes into it. So, yeah, really happy. So anyway, guys,
go on.
First things first, how did our tanks cope with the heat? Let's start. And I'm going to start with Paul. We'll start with Paul. Paul, how did your tanks cope?
Yeah, fine.
Because you've got one in a you've got one in a garage.
I've got two in the garage. The highest temperature it got to was, I think, 27.3, which is both of them got to that level. And that was despite it being 40 degrees outside. They're back to normal now. They're back to normal this morning, which is fine. The only thing I did differently was for the first time since I've had the tanks, I put frozen bottles in the sump a couple of times. And also I increased my feeding because we was having a chat, weren't we? And my nutrients went down. So I fed twice a day. So I put quite a bit more food in. What I did find that the alkaline has gone up.
We'll come on to that. Because we've had a chat about that, didn't we, during the week?
Yeah.
About
swings in temperature.
Yeah, well, a few things actually, weren't we? You know what? I was nearly calling a Cobra meeting because I didn't have a clue. So it was like, what the hell? And I had to get the wise wisdom of Paul, and I think he's actually me. But after doing a little bit of research, he could actually be right. To be fair, you know what I mean. But let me just
there's definitely a link between temperature and alkalinity. Yeah.
So also you do this anyway, don't you, Jay?
What's that? What have you got there? Oh, it's on the good stuff.
Oh, there's elements, yeah.
So I also increased the amount of that I put in. So I put that in. Yeah. I don't know, once a week or when I remember, but I did it every couple of days. My theory was that either the readings on the test kits were poor because the temperature was high, and the Red Sea ones say that it should be about 25 degrees, but obviously the test kits were a lot higher than that.
Yeah,
but also, I think they was taking up more nutrients because of the heat, and they were sucking things out more from the water column to survive. Now I haven't done the research or anything, but it kind of makes sense. So I didn't want the nutrients to bottom out, so I just increased my feeding. And touch wood, the lost a bit of colour, a couple of the SPS, which is not a surprise given the temperature. But touch wood, at this stage, I haven't lost anything. Now, what I have found in the past, SPS can take 2 to 3 weeks to bail. Doesn't happen straight away. But I haven't got many sticks in those 2 tanks. All the sticks are gone. So I've only got about 3 or 4 different types of sticks. The rest are Montes, and they're pretty good, touch wood. So everything was fine across both tanks, actually. So I was quite pleased. I just, as usual, windows closed, doors closed. Actually, when we was coming in, it was cooler inside. You could feel as you was coming in, it was a lot cooler inside. I still had neighbours and that were keeping their doors open and complaining about it being warm. And when you say, you should close your doors and windows, they just don't believe you.
No.
I closed the curtains in the front of the house for the first time as well. So I wouldn't say it wasn't hot, but it was nowhere near hot inside as it was outside. So I didn't resort to getting a fan out or anything like that. So it was pretty basic, and it was
So really, for you, I mean, because I was thinking, like, with them being in the shed there or the garage type thing, what sort of door have you got on your garage? Is it like a metal door?
It's a roller shutter, and the sun and the
beaming.
And the is it south facing is the front. So the front of the house gets the sun, and one of the tanks is like a foot.
How is it not cooking? How is it not?
I would have thought that would be about 29 or something.
It should be a lot higher than that. It's about 4.5 away from the door. Yeah. And that door is metal because it's a roller shutter one. And I expected to have all kinds of problems, but I found when I put my very first tank in there about 4, maybe 5 years ago, I can't remember now. It was fine. But also, there's no
Okay.
light out there. There's no lighting out there either, so you don't get any heat other than what the tank produces. So I didn't turn the lighting. They didn't turn the lights off. Didn't think I needed to, even though I knew the tank would be all right. Because I think I said last week when I was on holiday, one of the Radiant Gen 4 packed up, and it had no lighting in it from Tuesday to when I got home late on Friday night, and the tank was all right when I switched the light over because I've got the spare light from the old tank here. Everything's fine other than one SPS has lost a bit of green. But
sorry, I don't need to meet you, Mike, mate. It's fine. We'll all just.
I've not got COVID. I'm all right.
COVID. They'll be off next week.
Face mask.
COVID alert.
COVID alert. He'll be off next week. Watch him. He'll be throwing a sick. So
Jay,
I don't understand how these people like Paul just goes, oh, my temperature went up by about 0.4 or 0.5. I'm like, how?
To be fair, I run my tank at about 25. And so it was up by 2.5 degrees, but that took quite a while to get it to 2.5. So I'm not fussed about 2.5 degrees, as long as it don't happen straight away. And I didn't want to cool it down too quick either, because that'd be bad. So when I was putting the ice in, it was going down by no more than 0.5 degree, which I think that's over about an hour. So for me, that's fine. So it was fine.
Tell you what, you don't like
you smashed it there. You smashed it.
Done pretty good there. I mean, what about you, Jay, in your greenhouse? Because yours is right next to the window, isn't it?
I'm not joking. It was an absolute ball ache, to be honest. Yeah. Seriously, like we nearly got divorced over it. So it was 2 days. When I was at work.
Yeah.
My missus was on the day shift, working from home, and she spent more time messing about in my reef tank than actually getting her work done at work. So basically. I think that was the ultimate test, wasn't it? The 2 hottest days in history. Hopefully, we never have to do that again. But it was the ultimate test. The bottom line is, I need an air conditioning, like a portable air conditioning unit in this room. So my house is quite new. It's quite new, cavity walls, double glazed. With these energy bills, it's quite good in the sense that it'll trap heat. But oh my God, as soon as the heat's out, the house just warms up. And you can't keep it's only a small room, you can't keep it cool. So these are my little tactics here. So it was a full night job basically. So at night I had all the windows wide open to drop the temperature in the house, right? I got up at about 3:30 in the morning because that's when it was outside. I got up, opened the windows on here, like double open. So if we had any burglars around, they'd have been straight through. Double open, and that chilled the room. And then at 8 o'clock, about 6:30, shut the window and shut the curtains so that the room was cold then, right? The fans were already kicking in. The light, I didn't put the light on for 2 days. So for 48 hours, I had no light on because otherwise it'd have just cooked the tank. And this is no joke. I had the big fan on, the one that you were taking the mick at last week. The giant fan here, look.
Bigger than the tank.
Yeah. With the cooling bottles. And no joke, like the standard water bottles. I don't know, maybe 300
ml bottles.
Yeah. I was floating one of those every hour between 9 a.m. till about 10 p.m. at night, just rotating them. And that's what my wife was doing every hour, taking one out, putting one in. My salinity went down by...
Sounds worse. I think your tank sounds worse than having a newborn baby.
Mate, it was like having a newborn baby. Because each frozen bottle, it'd melt within about 15 minutes and it would knock off about 0.2 of a degree. Yeah. So basically nothing. But it wasn't actually going up.
Yeah.
So it peaked on the first day, actually, not the hottest day. It peaked on the Monday at 28.2. But then, like Paul said, it was high, so I didn't want to. I couldn't get it down anyway. That's the problem I had.
Yeah.
Couldn't get it down. But if I was trying to get it down, you have to do it gradually, obviously. Otherwise, you stress the corals. But it was, like you just said, a good analogy, Steve. It's like a newborn baby. We were tending to the tank every single hour of the day. apart from a few hours between like 10 and 3 in the morning.
Yeah.
But it was crazy, but I haven't lost anything due to the temperature change. Yeah. My salinity dropped from 1.025 to 1.024 because all the bottles I was taking out with bits of salt water on, and then it was topping up with RO.
Yeah.
But I did a water change yesterday and buffered it back up again. So, when you just make an extra slightly saltier mix, and then just buffered it back up to 1.025. But
2.4 makes it 2.4 or 2.5 doesn't make any difference whatsoever, I would say. So I won't worry about.
Well, I nearly called the Cobra for that, to be honest.
Yeah, but I think you should get a small because you're on the first floor as well. I mean, the first floor in our house was a lot warmer. So I wouldn't have liked to have kept a tank there. I probably would have had to have got a small aircon unit, just shut off that room. And obviously, usually most aircon, you need a pipe to go out the window. But a small room, you could have a small unit, and it probably won't burn too much electricity because it's only a small room.
Yeah. See, this is the issue. I did remove the loft hatch as well. That was another thing that I did, and that did take a few degrees off the house temperature as well. But it was worth it because I didn't lose anything. But it was constant. If I'd have just left, if I'd have been away, or if I'd have left it for half a day and just gone to work, I'd have cooked something. Yeah, it'd have been up by 30 degrees easily.
Yeah.
So,
Crazy like times. You done well there, Jay. To be fair, with my, obviously smaller tanks are always going to get they're just going to get hotter, aren't they? It's as simple as that. There's small, less water volume. Easier to boil, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's simple.
Well, then it's supposed to be easier to cool as well. That's when the bigger ones get hot. They're hard to get back down, aren't they? That's what they say.
Yeah. I mean, I had issues, and it's very rarely I have issues with temperature on my tank. You know what I mean? But mine, when I run mine, as you know, about 25.8 to 26. I'm all right with that range. That's what it runs at usually. Yeah, but it went to. The highest point, I think it went to 27.6, 27.7, which is high for my tank, So I was like, I did the bottle trick, it dropped it slightly in that. But I noticed that my holy moly grail torch, was was receded in. Now, this is an issue. I'm like, oh my, what's going on here? Like, so the other torches were all right. There was no problem with them. But that Holy Grail one is near where the bubble tip is. Now I think it stung. I think it stung it either in the evening or something like that, I don't know. And it's curled itself in. And then with the temperature of raising up and stuff, I think it's just got stressed. So it had it had 2 stroke 3 heads on it, and one of the heads was completely dead, like it shredded. You know what I mean? The other 1.5 sort of thing, that's still it's on the frag rack and it's still alive. So. I'm only hoping and praying that now that the weather's gone back down to normal and it might recover.
Yeah,
usually, usually when a torch starts to go, it doesn't really. It's the end. It won't really recover really on a torch. But from my past anyway, from what I've experienced, it doesn't seem to recover for some strange reason. You know what I mean? But other than that though, that was the issue, the main issue. But then when I tested my tank, I thought I'm going to test my tank here just to see what's going on, make sure everything's fine. And the nitrates were like near enough 0.2, and yet the phosphates were like 0.04, they've gone down to 0.01. So the nitrates have gone from 9,
crash nutrients
to basically 0, And and yet I'm feeding the tank exactly the same. I've done no changes whatsoever. I've done nothing to the tank. I'm not carbon dosing or anything.
Water change?
No water changes, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah, everything is the same. Yeah, and yet the nitrates has dropped, and I'm like, how can that be when I've got less fish? You know, I can't understand that. So for the life I contacted like Paul, obviously spoke. Message there. I was like, what? And he's gave a good points, thinking, does the weather have a what's the word I'm looking for?
Don't know.
An effect?
Yeah. Does the weather, the heat?
I thought you were going to come up with a fancy word there, Steve.
That is fancy, though, isn't it?
I was thinking
that is 4 letters.
I was thinking of a fancy word, but I thought, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
Does it have a
Our viewers don't need fancy words. They're just like.
Does it affect? Does the heat affect?
Yeah, go on.
Alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, or nitrates and phosphates? Does it actually affect that in the water column of your tank? You know what I mean? Because I find it strange that only last week it was 9, and everything was perfect, and yet now I've got no algae. But got no algae whatsoever in the tank, so it's not like algae's consuming it, and but the phosphates, the nitrates have near enough bottomed out. So now I'm like feeding the tank major food. You know what I mean? Now it's like to try and raise them up. I don't know what's going on, but I don't want to overfeed it because in case it all of a sudden it shoots up, and then you start getting problems even then. So it's a catch-22 now. I mean, I really don't know what's going on.
And the other thing that I sent over to you, if you look on the, I use Red Sea test kits, not all of them, but some of them. But on their information, it says the reagents are stable up to a temperature of 15 to 25 centigrade. So my test kits are in the garage. Outside the tank, it's probably going to be quite hot. So whether if your test kits are like 30 plus, if they're kept in those conditions, then could that be a problem? Could that then give you dodgy readings? But I mean, I can now the tank's back to normal. I'll test this weekend and see, was it the fact that the true readings were low, or were they not low and I had dodgy reagent and now my nitrates and everything are sky high? But I haven't had an algae outbreak or any sign of that. So usually if your nitrates and phosphates go up, that quite often with hot weather, because hot weather can also influence and you have algae, because if your temperature goes up in your tank, that can, combination of light, drive more algae as well, because the water's
that's right,
hotter. So I mean the tank looks fine. I mean I've got a little bit of algae, but I've always got a little bit of algae, and I don't worry about it because I think it's not a bad thing. I know it looks a bit ugly. A bit of algae in your in your tank is not a bad thing, because things can feed off it and things like that. So I don't get overly excited about not having a crystal tank. So that's when you said about it. I looked at the test kits and think, hang on a minute, if they go over a certain temperature, do you get a dodgy reading? I don't know. That's what it said. Whether they're covering their backside or not, I don't know. So now we're back to normal. I'll test tomorrow and I'll let you know how nitrates and phosphates are.
Absolutely, I mean, Christian, he could probably tell us whether he has any effects with his tanks. Obviously, he's like a distributor. He's got his own shop and distributed hundreds of corals and stuff like that. And like, does he ever see like anything like that, like fluctuations in anything, either nutrients or like alkalinity or whatever? I mean, the alkalinity. I mean, I've always had a battle with the alkalinity in a sense of like with the KH keeper and the Hannah checker. You know what I mean? They're always out. One of them's right and one of them's wrong in it. So it's like it's a tricky one. It's like wondering which one do you actually trust. But like you said, even the solution of the Hannah checker, it's got to be under 25 point summit to test. So I know for sure in that little tiny cupboard of mine, it was more than 25 degrees. You know what I mean? For sure.
So it could have been that. Yeah. But also, you think with infants, you got to have the little container, got to be clean, your reagent put in exactly the same amount. If you have a look about if you do something different to what you're supposed to do, does that influence your reading? Because if you put a little bit less reagent in and the next time you put a bit more, would you expect the same outcome? I don't know. So they're a guide, aren't they? Let's face it, it's a guide.
There's huge variability with them.
Yeah, they're all a guide. Like we've said before in the past, haven't we? These test kits, they're hobby grade test kits. They're not like professional test kit. You're not going to get a professional test kit.
You've not seen my checker. That's pretty professional.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it,
but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, I've bought this ammonia test for when I get that going. That's $10.99. That's one of the cheapest ones about. Do I expect that to be really accurate? No, but would I expect it to show a reading? Yeah, so it'll do what I need it to.
Nice to do. Nice on the box as well.
Oh yeah.
It gives a good. It gives it, like you said, it gives a ballpark figure, doesn't it? These test kits give a ballpark figure. They're not going to give a true, accurate reading of it. You know what I mean?
Why don't you use the CChem disc in the tank for ammonia? I've seen. I like the look of those.
I use them.
I'm not going to put fish in for quite a while. In fact, as I said to you last week, I haven't bought a test ammonia. I haven't tested ammonia since my very first tank. every tank I've since done, which is what, 5 or 6 tanks, I haven't worried about that because I haven't thrown fish in straight away. I've let it cycled, and if you leave it 3 or 4 weeks, then it's gonna cycle unless you keep on putting ammonia in, like you did, Jay, when you first started that one.
Yeah.
I have a
real newbie there at that point.
A prawn in for 4 days, starts disintegrating, take it out, and then your ammonia does what it needs to do.
That's
and it
exactly
don't cost
what
you
I
anything
did.
either.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Yeah, it was I think it was the best way. I know it's a long, hard, pain in the ass struggle, to be fair, with it all, with doing the prawn, and it stinks like mad when you pull out, and no matter what you do, you can't get that stink out of your house for days, you know what I mean? When you pull a rotten prawn out your tank, oh mate, it's awful. My missus wanted to kill me when I was doing it, so I wouldn't advise it unless you lived on your own, you know what I mean?
This hobby might lead to people living on their own. It is. You have to be quite understanding.
Might lead you to living on your own.
I know. Seeing as you're at home, dear, today, can you put a frozen bottle in the tank every hour? She was like, you what? I think I've got nothing better to do. It's either that or you're gonna kill something. She's just like, oh yeah, play the emotional card.
Yeah. I'll put your head in it when you get home.
I know, that's it. It was someone put about putting fish in. Obviously, Paul was talking about putting his fish in. Someone's put some fish in. Put clownfish in. Oh, who was that? Was it? Can't find it in the chat now.
Oh no.
It talks about putting clownfish in. Oh, that's the one I wouldn't put in ever again. First, never again.
John was saying here, they put on a nitrate test. API came out at 80, and Salifert was 7. Oh yeah, that's a bit of a discrepancy, isn't it? You know what I mean? Yeah. Listen, to be fair with the API, I used the API when I was cycling the tank because once again, it was cheap, but it was also gave a ballpark figure that there was ammonia, there was nitrite, there was nitrate in the tank. So it was just to make sure. And the one good thing with that API test kit that it tells you when there's no nitrate, there's no ammonia, there's no nitrite, and there's only nitrate in the tank. You know what I mean? So that's what I did to cycle my whole tank, was use the API. Salifert, though, I'd probably edge towards the Salifert that.
Yeah,
they've been around for donkeys. You know what I mean? For bloody ages and ages, and the majority of people use the Salifert test kits, and they are pretty good, to be fair. You know what I mean? They're a pretty good for the price.
They're good value, aren't they? People seem to start. They start off with them, and then people go into Hannah and other stuff. I bought the whole set when I first started. Then I moved on to Red Sea and Elos and stuff like that. But I haven't really changed test kits for quite a while now because I'm pretty happy with the ones I've got. I know you guys love Hannah, but I just haven't really felt the need to buy Hannah, to be honest.
Yeah. No,
very rare that you get the same. So when you do it twice, you never get the same. You never get the same result, do you? Even with Hannah's, you get a different number. You never get exactly the same. It's just like you say, it's just different amounts of reagent, different amount of shaking. There's so many different things that can affect the outcome of the result. It just goes back to a ballpark figure, isn't it? If you want a proper one, you've got to have a ICP, haven't you? Really?
ICP test,
the one to go.
Yeah.
Well, this is and that comes on to what like Christine said here. So many there's lots of things that have a chain effect.
Christian, not Christine.
That's what I just said, Christine.
All right.
Are you on the brand? Are you on the brandy there or something, Jay? What?
Mate, I'm on holiday. School's out, So
the answer is yes.
Yeah. So
I got a glass of vodka here. Look. That's not really. It's water.
So there's a lot that have a chain effects that you need to keep an eye on and deal with the proper way. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like you said, I just find it strange that like all my nutrients seem to have just bottled out. I tested it 5 days before because I have made a more of a rigorous testing program on my tank because I was neglecting it, not testing it because it looked good. So I thought, well, I don't need to test, but we spoke about it on the one of the live streams saying we should test even if it looks good because it could possibly prevent an issue coming. You know what I mean, or prevent an issue from arising, sort of thing. So. As far
as I understand it, nutrients obviously don't evaporate out the tank, so they have to be taken up by something, absorbed by something that's organic living.
But because I've not.
It's either your corals, your fish, your algae, or your reef mats going nuts and taking too much out.
Well, it's not my reef mat because not my clarity because I've got the gate open on that near enough. That's why it lasts me about 4 months, 5 months that roll because I've got it out near enough three quarters of the way open.
Something living's taking it up, but you got to find out.
So I can only think it's probably the corals because the corals are definitely growing now. The SPS are growing big now. You know what I mean? I'm seeing more white tips from all over the show. So maybe they're taking it up. I don't know.
They would definitely be taking it out because I said it before, didn't I, about when I took the big colonies out of the old tank, how the nitrate and phosphate just went up and up and up. So I know that the only thing that changed was the corals coming out. So I know that's the corals of how much they was actually consuming.
Yeah.
Of
I mean, change the lights as well.
I changed the lights, but then my calcium though, was 425. My calcium was 425. It's perfect, the calcium, Only a few weeks ago, I tested my calcium at the same time, obviously the same day, and it come in at 380. In fact, it was probably more like
corals are consuming it all, mate. You need to up your dosing.
I've upped some that, so now I'm dosing 320 mil now of that stuff. You know what I mean?
320 mil.
320 mil, mate. Yeah,
but it's like a milk container delivery when you dosing.
That's a lot.
I feel sorry for my dosing pumps. They're going around all the time.
It's constantly just dripping it in.
Yeah, just dripping it in, mate. It's crazy.
It's because your palm must be higher on those lights, and therefore
you're getting bigger growth. Yeah,
you're getting bigger growth, and they're absorbing more nutrients. And
well, it's funny you say that because I actually thought of that myself. And to be fair, I'm working all weekend this weekend, so I'm not really gonna have time. But I'm off on the Tuesday, so I thought what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get that Senai out again, and I'm gonna just test my palm because I thought exactly the same thing. I thought, is it got something to do with my lighting? Has it, because the growth, there's definitely growth on the corals, 100%, And I'm thinking, at all these, just like Christine says, all of these things linked together, you know what I mean? Yeah, like a jigsaw puzzle.
Absolutely.
And it's all combating this thing. So I'm gonna test it, and I'm gonna see, and I'm gonna
Confession corner. How many times have you measured your nutrients since you put your new lights on?
Three or four times. 3 or 4 times. That's what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Seriously, on my life, seriously, I've decided. I said, you know what? I'm going to start testing the tank because I wasn't testing the tank because you look at your corals, you look at your Duncan corals, like we've said before, Duncan corals, my Duncan corals getting more and more heads, mate. It's getting baby heads and everything all over the show on it. So that's a sign. Listen, it's all going well. It's all going good. So I have no issues. So that's why I've lackadaisy in the testing part of it. But then obviously with this heat and all that, I thought, I'll just test it again, just to make sure. And then literally I was gobsmacked. I tested the nitrates twice and it came back with the exact same result. Yeah. So I was like, holy moly, like it's near enough bottomed out.
But now you're starving them. They're on hunger strike now, Steve.
Yeah. Well,
nutrients in.
Well, I've started back on the reef roids now, so I'm putting.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, I say started back on it. I've been doing it. I've been putting the reef roids in, but now I'm putting a little bit extra in. A little bit like another half a scoop, just to see if it can raise it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because we all know reef roids does raise phosphates up. There's no doubt about that. You know what I mean? True. So I'm hoping it raises it up a little bit, but. Fingers crossed. But other than that,
Steve, you're dosing about 10 litres a month.
Yeah.
The pennies just dropped in my head. You're doing 10 litres a month because you're doing 330 a day. That's about 10 litres a month.
320 a day.
And it's just cheaper to do water changes than doing all this dosing.
It possibly is, mate. Yeah, you could probably be right there, actually.
Well, because you're going to replace everything with the water change as you do when you don't.
Exactly, and what did I say to you?
Basically, you've got RO water in there because you've never changed it. It's been
I do water changes. I do water changes.
4 years, that water.
I do water changes if you think about it, because I'm dosing exactly like what Paul just said. 10 litres. I'm doing 10-litre water changes. Just on the top on the thing, and then the auto top off. Which doses it. Mate, I'm doing pretty decent water changes, really. So, you know what?
Steve, I know we talked about a calcium reactor.
Yeah.
But you could easily set up a calcium reactor. And if you was concerned, don't use a pH controller. Treat it like a doser. So get your the pump and then you just flow it through slowly with a small amount going through, and then you slowly increase it. And as your out goes up, and then you, or whatever it is, and you bring it down. And that way, because I run a calcium reactor for a couple of years, and I treated it exactly like a doser. I didn't treat it like with a pH controller and blah, blah, blah. I put it on a timer, done the bubble counter, and it worked a treat. I must admit, it was just like having a dosing pump.
I mean, we spoke about it last week about like the different, like whether I'm going to go with a calc or well, I was going to go with a calc stirrer, or a calcium reactor. You know what I mean? Now I know a calc washer, it's cheap. It's been around in the hobby for decades, and it's going to work, and it's going to put calcium and alkalinity in the tank.
And it's going to raise your pH as well.
And it's going to raise the pH. So there's
whereas calcium reactor can bring. I've read. I don't know if it's a fact.
It'll drop your pH.
Comes down with a calcium reactor.
Yeah, it will. It will, because remember, you're to melt the coral skeleton in a calcium reactor. It needs to be like, is it 6.3 or 6 point something like that? I
can't remember, but
So remember that water then, that 6.2 or 6.3 water, that's getting dropped into your tank.
Yeah.
So that's going to lower your pH automatically. It's going to lower your pH. Whereas, like you said, with a calc washer, you've got it, what is it about potentially? I think it's 13. Is it 13 pH or something like that, or whatever?
You would definitely raise it, and it's cheap. So I mean, that's another option.
Yeah. So I mean, and it's cheaper. Plus, it means as long as I can just drop the dosing in a sense of like
you'd have to kind of bring it like that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, slowly.
Start off really small, and then
absolutely
over like a couple of months, just dilating. There's no rush, is there? Let's face it.
No.
But
the only thing with that is a sense of like is probably just fear for me, really. Is like
I'm nervous for
you could potentially overdose it, and if you overdose it, it's game over with your tank. Nothing is coming back.
You just got to measure meticulously, don't you, when you're doing something like that?
Yeah. So
I was going to say though, I felt sorry for you when you were dosing 10 liters of calcium or whatever you're dosing, or alkalinity. But I was just thinking, wait a minute, this guy's never bought a bucket of salt. So what you spending in dosing liquids? You're saving in salt. You are.
Listen, mate. I am spending a hell of a lot of money on. I mean, it's not so much. It's not so much the powder, The powder's irrelevant. You know, the powders that you mix up, with the RO. That's irrelevant. That's cheap. It's $8.99 to $10.99 for the pack. And you're getting, well, I don't know exactly what you get. I think you get about 25 litres or maybe more. I think maybe 30 litres in a pack. You know what I mean? So that's pretty decent when you look at it.
You're arriving every day.
It's the component strongs, the component strongs, the trace elements, that you mix in with the powders. So once you've mixed it up, you do like 10 mil of each. You know what I mean?
Oh, I see.
10 mil per one. 5 mil per 1 litre of the reagent. So I'm doing like, obviously with 5 litres, it works out at the equivalent of fucking Christ knows what, like 30 mil or whatever for. So, but they're 26 quid. Them bottles, those bottles.
And how big are the bottles?
The little 50. I think there's 70 mil. I think in each bottle.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the little type, in fact, 1 minute, I'll go and get the bottles.
So basically, it's not lasting.
He's just had to deliver it some more just now.
He just realised now how much it's costing him as we're working it out.
He's got a large tank. It's only 300 litre. Imagine if he was like running one of these like Sea Life Centre aquariums. How much it'd cost? Steve took over something like that.
Yeah. So basically, he's spending a lot of money on.
He's spending a lot of money.
Yeah.
So that's them there, yeah. So you get them. So you could get them, but you could get the larger bottles, but the less concentrated, so the dead weak. So it works out at the equivalent of putting what you're putting in here, yeah. Now look at the size of the bottles.
How much is that pack there? Yeah. How much is that pack?
You know what I mean? Look at the size of that.
How much is in that, Steve? How much is in there?
75 mil.
Yeah.
75 mil, and how much that cost?
What is that? A trace element?
Yeah.
They're all trace elements.
Like strontium and stuff like that, is it?
And they cost 24 quid.
So 24 quid for 75 mil. And how much? How many mils you have to put in per litre of mix?
You put 5 mil per litre. So it's every time I do a 5 litre thing bucket, I've got to put 25 mil of that of each. of each component, yeah, of each one of them. It's all 5 mil on each of them. So you get A, B, and C. So you put A and B, yeah, in the calcium. You put C in the alkalinity. You put K.
Wait up. How much do bus drivers get in Manchester get paid? Because at the moment,
that is some serious money you're sticking in.
You must be on a fortune bus driving.
It's 70 mil, and you're putting in.
Why do you think I do overtime?
It's like, this will get me trace elements up.
I'll have another shift just to buy another one of those.
I know. Yeah. I'll tell you one thing I've learned from this story. You've not got a financial spreadsheet for your reef, because if you had, you wouldn't be doing this.
If I did, mate, I would probably be divorced, beat up, and everything, mate. Mate, no, but
I think you need to hire Paul. Where's Paul? Paul over here. I think you need to hire Paul as your financial reefer advisor. He's good. Paul's good with numbers. Have you actually calculated how much it's costing you?
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll hire Paul at doing that, yeah, and then you could be the spreadsheet man, because you like doing spreadsheets, don't you, Jay? You like doing spreadsheets.
I'm not to tell everybody the secret.
And then just don't tell me on how much it is. Keep it a secret.
Mate, you're spending hundreds and hundreds on dosing, you are.
Yeah, hundreds of pounds.
In a relatively short period of time as well.
Yeah. You
need to work it out, and then that could be the title of your video.
And this is
expensive 300-litre tank in the UK.
Yeah,
and I'm not talking fish and corals.
I was gonna get like we said, I'll keep going on about it and all about. Obviously, I go away soon on holiday and everything. So, but really, I do need to sit down and think seriously about like what the future holds for this tank, because it is costing a lot of money. It is costing a fair whack of money, mate.
A lot of money, mate. No sense.
And it is costing. And I don't, like I said, I don't cut my frags and sell them. I don't do any of that. So I'm not getting anything back. Other people who like cut the frags and sell them, it's different. Yeah. So all I'm doing is just pumping money out all the time with it. So it's just a lot. It is coming to the point where it's like, holy moly, I need to like figure out something here. I haven't Excel sheet.
Times are getting tough. You see,
exactly.
I went in the group about the number of tank shutdowns, and I'm seeing you're also seeing 170s and 200 litres, nano tanks. You know, people are finding it hard to finance the hobby, and you don't want to end up. You don't want to end up in a sticky position, do you?
No, I mean, listen, I'll never give up my tank ever, mate, because it's just like, for me, the only time I'll probably ever give it up, God forbid, is if it bloody blew up, you know what I mean, or something. Yeah, but that's it. You know, other than that, I would never. But I mean, it is coming to the point where you've got, and it's not about the paying out for the money in a sense. Yeah, what it's down to is it's putting all that water in the tank, so it's reducing. It's going over time. It'll reduce your salinity. You know what I mean? Because you're putting that much,
you're putting
basically RO water, it'll just reduce the salinity. I mean, like my tank,
how do you buffer your salinity without water changes, actually?
I don't do it. I don't do anything, mate. I don't do anything. I
never had to buffer your salinity, no?
No. Oh, sorry, once when what do you call it? When it the other few months, was it last month? When it dumped 10 litres of water in.
Yeah.
And but it only went down to like 1.023. So I basically mixed up a salt, literally, I think it was about 2 litres of water. And I got like tons of salt, and I mixed it. My Hannah checker didn't even read what it was. It was just flashing at 140.
Did you check the date on your salt, Steve? Did you check the date on it?
Oh yeah, it's right, mate. Anyway, I just literally stumped all that in the sump, like just tipped it in the sump and that. And like over time, and then it went up a little bit, and then it went up a little, and I think it was over about 3 or 4 days. I just got it back up to like 1.025. So, and I tested it the other day, and it's 1.025. So, I mean, it's not probably doing that much. You know what I mean? It's not probably having so much effect, but it's still not the point. I'm still dosing a lot of liquid. Like now, it's 300. So it's like near enough a litre of water a day is going in that.
You should sit down and calculate it, and then so you know exactly how much it is. And then
hold on a minute. No, hold on a minute, Paul. You said 10 litres a month, did you say?
You're doing 300.
No, yeah, I'm doing 300 of each component.
300 a day?
Of each component, mate.
I thought it's 300 in total.
No, 300 calcium, 300 alkaline, and 300 mag. So it's
Oh, so
nearly
you're doing 30. You're doing 30 liters a month.
a month, yeah, of it. Yeah, that's what it works out at now.
You know,
So-
you know what you could do? You could strip back all your SPS, cut them all back to small frags, and
Yeah.
then your consumption, a bit drastic, but your consumption would go down by quite a lot.
and sell them, and then buy me a year supply of aquaforest stuff. Yeah, could do that, mate. But yeah, no, 300 mil of each, because you got to dose them in equal.
Oh, I didn't realise. So that's 30
Oh,
litres per month,
Yeah.
and it's 5 mil per litre, and 75 mils costs
in a bottle.
24 26, 20, whatever it was, 24 quid.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a lot of money in it.
It's a lot. I mean, we're not a maths channel here, but it's a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah, but that is just for the component strong. Remember, that's just for these. Yeah, that's just for this. Then you've got to buy your powders for your alkalinity.
Yeah, so that basically does 15 litres.
Yeah,
I think I worked out. It's 75 mil, and it's 5 mil per for 1 litre. So that does 15 litres.
15 litres. Yeah.
So that's basically 2 weeks. So if you do 300,
2 weeks,
you do 30 litres a month.
Yeah. Yeah. Listen, it's a bloody lot. That's what it is. It's a hell of a lot.
Wow.
Mate.
So two of those a month you're going for. So that's 50 quid a month in that.
Just
on
in those, yeah. And what about the other ones? The other containers? How much are they?
No, the powders are like range from I think it's $8.99 to $10.99 or
right. So just say they're 10.
They're not. So say you spend like £60 on them. So in total, just on dosing powder, it's like £110
a month
on the dosing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
so. When you look at it like that, you know what I mean?
Well, mate, if you don't laugh, you cry. You're gonna cry at that. That's an eye-watering figure. That is.
And that's just that. That's without
you.
1 minute, mate.
On dosing your tank.
Just bear with me.
It's missing. It's 11 quid a month. I got it wrong. I got an extra zero.
Did you hear her? She was Stephen.
I'm cutting the SPS out your tank.
He's watching in the other room.
She gets.
Oh my goodness! Surely there's nobody else spending that on dosing, unless you're like a coral farmer or something like that.
You wouldn't take that choice. You would do something else, wouldn't you?
Well, you would, yeah.
I mean, you think 110 a month. If he gets a decent calcium reactor,
it's also
you can
good.
Get a second-hand one and anything else. It'd be a lot cheaper.
I just enjoy winding him up as well.
I noticed. So while we're waiting for that, there was a question earlier on from Michael Butler around thinking of getting Bengal Cardinals.
Oh yes, there was. Yeah.
What's the best number to get? Now I've seen people get 5, 6, 7 in a group. I've found that 2 works best. But the problem is if you buy 2 males, they could hammer it out amongst themselves and kill one another. So you really want to get a male and a female, but they're quite difficult to identify. But I'll go for a pair. It's personal view. I've seen people keep more than
weird looking fish.
If I was going to get a group, I'd try and see if they were from the same brood. So see if they're from the same batch, and that way you got more of a chance.
If I was going to get a group of them, I think I'd have the Antheas. I think they look nicer.
Yeah. Redfish are good, and also the pink longfins are good. They're less aggressive. You get the more aggressive ones, one of them will pick off the rest. But they're two that don't necessarily. They're quite tame compared to the others. But Amphias are.
Amphias are really nice. Yeah, but you don't want the giant chromas, do you? They're a bit of a nightmare.
They can be, can't they? You end up with 2. So I'd go with 2 to answer your question, Michael. But you can do more than that. That's my personal view on what I've kept before with Cardinals.
Christian, I think, just quickly going off that, has basically answered it. And increased metabolism at higher temperatures. There's the nutrient consumption, so that could be probably it. So
which is what we was talking about, weren't we?
Yeah. So thanks a lot for that, mate. And he's also said check my dosing calibration, Christian. That was the first thing that I've done on the come over. Check my calibration, and I've got to admit, seriously,
he's worried if a coral farmer's telling you to check your dose because he's not anywhere near.
But you know what though is spot on, because that was the first thing I did was like check, because obviously like I'm dosing all this stuff, and I know I'm dosing it because
the
containers are mate. The containers are running out like there's no tomorrow, mate. Listen, I pick it up and it's full, yeah, and then a couple of days later I'm picking it up and it's like near enough half gone. I'm like,
how big are your containers?
5 litres. 5 litres.
They're like them butts that you get in the garden. He's got them under his.
He's got 100-litre butts outside 3 of them.
He's got 3 butts in the garden.
They're bigger than the tank. In fact, one of his containers is bigger than your tank there, and this one over here.
Dosing lines like guttering.
Hey, mate, if it carries on the way it's going, I'm going to need it. I tell you. Oh, mate.
Dosing lines are like the Russian gas supply lines. That's what they're like.
I tell you. Oh, Brett. Sorry, Brett. We miss you. We're having a chat, yeah. He's just called in to say hello. We'll watch the stream, and he's always working. Brett is always on the road, so
yeah, he's always
on. Mate, appreciate it. Sky Marine has joined in, and Mickey Boy Mick has joined in. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining in. John Wright. Muggsy Aquarium, Steve, for a softy and LPS tank, why do I need to do water changes if my nutrients are low and I dose all for reef? Did you stop water changes over a period of time? I did, yeah. And the situation, when you have this, yeah, I mean, it's such a subject, in it. People say they swear by water changes. Some of us will say,
don't get this argument. I don't get this argument.
I know, and listen. A lot of people say, you know what, it's beneficial to the corals and this, that, and the other. And listen, I get it all, right? Don't worry, yeah. But my philosophy on it is this, yeah. And it's simple, yeah. Why change something? Why change if I'm adding nutrients, if I'm adding trace elements into my tank, yeah? That is all you're doing when you do. That is all you're doing when you do a water change, yeah. Is adding your calcium, alkalinity, and magnesium, and your trace elements that's mixed supposedly with the salt that it comes in, yeah. So that's all you're actually doing. So if I'm adding that stuff through dosing, yeah, why do I need to do water changes? All I'm doing is taking water out. My nutrients are low. My nitrates are low. Phosphates are low. So what am I actually changing if the nutrients are low? You know what I mean? I'm not doing. All I'm doing is taking what I'm making more work for myself by mixing water up. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not doing anything because I'm putting the trace elements in with the calcium and the alkalinity and magnesium consumption. So where it's said do for a softy and LPS tank doesn't need to do a water change. I would never say don't do a water change because I did it on the one.
You just
on my, no. I'm saying for my tank now. I'm saying for my tank now.
All right.
But for my 170, I did do water changes. I did do because it was a smaller tank.
Yeah.
I did do water changes. Did I see massive differences in the coral when I did it? With 25 litres, 30 litres? No, I didn't. I didn't really see. But it was in my mind, it's a water change. It'll do its due, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because that's what I learned to do. You need to do water change. And then when I got my bigger tank, I just gradually, somebody mentioned that exactly what I just said. And I thought, you know what? He's probably right here. I'm going to ease off. So instead of doing 30 litres, I did 20 litres. Yeah. And then I did that for a few weeks, and then I did 10 litres, and then in the end I just stopped. I stopped doing water changes, full stop, and that's what 3 years ago now, and I've never done a water change other than that little 30 litre one. When Joe was it Joe Ecos Joe it from when he set me that target thing to do it.
Yeah.
Is it Joe? Is it Joe? Forgive me if I'm saying it wrong. Joe Ecos, is it?
No, it's Joe. I can't remember his surname. I should know it, but I can't remember.
I can't remember. Anyway, when that chat was on, I did it, and that's the only one I've done. You know what I mean? But Ailey, I don't do any water changes either, so she doesn't do it. You know what I mean? So it's. I mean, listen, it's each to their own. I would never say don't do a water change. If you want to go water changing and do it like Jay does, and listen, do it, mate. Do it. There's it will help your corals, I'm sure. You know what I mean? Especially if softies and LPS and stuff.
So why won't you? If you just said that, why won't you do it then?
Because I've just said it. Well, I don't need to change anything in my tank. I put the trace elements through this stuff. The stuff that cost me 26 quid, 25 quid, mate.
You must be running carbon as well, though. Otherwise, your water would be like bloody.
No running carbon. No carbon. I haven't run carbon for months, mate.
So how's it not gone yellow then?
You come to my house and
Looks like I've got a toilet on a morning after a night out, I bet, but it's right yellow.
Not running no carbon whatsoever in my tank. I only put my phosphate. I only put my reedy reactor on, yeah. When the phosphates are high, well, that's got no chance of going on now, has it? Because I've got hardly any phosphates in the tank. So, yeah, no, I seriously don't, mate. I don't run any carbon whatsoever. I don't do it. I don't run it at all. You know what I mean? And really, carbon, that is all it's for, is to take out like the tinge of a yellow, but there's no tinge of there's nothing in the water. You know what I mean? Yeah, and toxins and stuff. So
yeah,
you know.
I mean, some people do 10% because they're not dosing. Certainly, I would do a lot of water change in the first 12 months because I think it's really helps the tank in the first 12 months, and then I tend to dial it down after that. So you can substitute, not do dosing and do water changes. Also, some people, I think someone put a comment in about pollutants. So if you're doing 10% every week, does that help in terms of then keep the water fresher and you maybe stopping a problem long term? There's that as well. So I think you've got to do what's right for you in terms of when I got, some people do it religiously. I did it religiously for the first 12 months on all of the tanks I've had, and I'll probably do a 10-litre water change on this every week. And then after 12 months, I think it looks better, blah, blah, blah. I'll probably then stop. But there's no right or wrong, is there? It really depends on what you're comfortable with.
Just going back onto John, what he said about his finger, and he doses the alpha reef as well.
Yeah,
the alpha reef. We've said it time and time again.
Puts everything you need back in, doesn't it?
Puts everything you need back in the tank. It's put everything. All you'll do the water changes for is just to replenish your tank. That's all you're doing. Just putting nice and fresh water in the tank. That's all you do. That's what you're doing, because the alpha reef does it. It doses everything into your tank anyway.
Yeah, but I do find
if you're using a salt wall, make sure that it's in line with the alpha reef, the alkalinity and stuff, because you can get salts which are higher alk, can't they? So you might get one which is running at 10 DKH or something. You salt like that Red Sea, the Red Sea Coral Pro salt, that runs at 12, I think, or something, or 11 points something. You know what I mean? So I mean, if you're doing that, but then you're dosing out all three, it's not going to do anything whatsoever, because the salt mix is too high. You know what I mean? So aim for a salt that you're going to be is in the region of the same DKH where you're going to be dosing.
What I do find though, if I do a water change, say kind of 10-15%, I find not straight after, a little while after, the LPS are looking puffier, they're looking fresher. So I do find it makes a difference, and the corals do seem to enjoy it. I suppose it just comes down to laziness for me, because if I know the corals are looking better for that short period of time, then I probably should do it. But then does that affect your dosing? 10% probably doesn't that much, but you do a water change every week, don't you, Joe?
I swear by a water change. I've got such a different view on this one, and this is why it's quite a good topic, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody has a different say on it, but I've always done a 10 to 12 litre in this tank every 7 to 10 days. So either every week or just over a week.
Have you never thought about
mate, they swim around with a smile on their face because they're not.
Have you never thought about experimenting, mate? You know what I mean? Like experimenting.
You think he's going to do that? There's no chance.
He'll be calling a Cobra meeting.
No, water looks like yellow.
Put you in a bath, right, and say, don't get out of that bath for 2 years, right? Yeah. But I'll keep topping it up.
Yeah.
How would you like it? No chance.
I don't know. Come and ask my fish. They'll tell you. They'll let you know, mate. You can always change.
It gets rid of lots of things that you don't want in there as well.
You know what? You need to come to my house, my friend, and you will see. You can have a talk to my fish.
You can have a talk to my fish.
You can have a talk to my fish and say, "Well, how do you feel about swimming in a dirty tank like that for 3.5 years?"
They'll be joining the train drivers. Then they'll be on strike next.
Everything grows, everything's happy. So for me, I just look at it. I mean, listen, a lot of people in this chat might be going, you're wrong. I do all watching. But for me, it just works. It works for me. Yeah. Right. You know what? We'll put it in. People comment below. Water changes, yes or no.
Yeah.
Everybody just reply yes or no. Yes.
What's the disadvantage of doing a water change?
There's no disadvantage.
So why would you do
It
that?
isn't. No, but like
Why
what I
not
just
do
said
it?
to you, if I'm putting trace elements and everything in my tank and everything is all good, yeah. What is the benefit of me doing a water change if there's nothing? Why change something that doesn't need to be
Cleans the
changed?
water.
Yeah, but you're only changing water out of it. You're not doing anything else. You're not putting extra nutrients. You're not doing this to it. All you're doing because they're already getting it through this box,
Well,
this
I
thing, mate. You know what I mean?
understand.
So, I mean, 12 liters. So 12 liters in your 75-liter tank. So it's not even what it's about 12%. Is it 13% or something?
Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
What is it?
Well, what?
Oh,
12
13%. Yeah, 10 liters in your 75-liter. So what is it? What? It's not even. It's about 13%. 13%.
15%, isn't it?
Is it 13, 15%? Right.
15.
So 50. Do you think that 15% is really
Yeah, it makes
like
a big
majorly
difference.
beneficial?
You
Yes.
do it, if you do it every week, it gets into the routine of
Yeah, it
doing
does.
it. I think the only downside, if you do big water changes, it can upset the corals. But if you're doing 10%, as long as you get your salinity and your temp and that, I don't think it's very
He's very passionate. Jay's very passionate about water changes.
I'm passionate about the hobby. Is it still loud now? Because I've turned. Oh my god! Sorry, guys and girls. I've turned it down. Is it better now?
I'm going deaf.
It's because Steve's making me raged about water changes.
Hey, what do you mean I'm making you rage? This is a debate. This is a debate.
Sorry, mate.
This is what we're. This is
better now. Just put yes. Push yes in the chat. It's better now. That'll get some more. That gets some more votes for water change as well.
Yeah, and there's I don't know whether this is a bit of a dig at me. A great product, Steve. I use the same stuff, but not as much as you. With a laughing face. I appreciate it, mate. Yeah, I mean,
the recommended amount for
yeah,
and I have looked at this, Stu. To be fair, I've looked at the reef elements because, in fact, I actually got passed on the owner's number of reef elements to contact him because to speak to him, to speak to him and all that, like about it because at the time I was dosing 240 mil. I think I was dosing 240 mil, and then I spoke to Dom from Cracking Corals, and he was saying, "I'll get him on the phone and this, that, and the other." I'll speak to him. Yeah. So he got him on the phone. He was like, "How much will it be? Like, what would he need to dose of your products?" And I think it worked out at about 60 mil, I think, or something like that, which is a massive difference to basically keep my tank the same as what it's running at now. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the only thing I had with that was to change. My tank's been running on aquaponics for 3 years now, 2.5 years, 3 years, yeah. So it's stable on it. So I didn't know whether it would shock the system by changing to a different product. Do you know what I mean? So it's a bit of a fear factor, really.
The equivalent amount to your alchem there. If you keep your elements roughly the same, but all of a sudden you put zinc in, and all of a sudden you'd have to test every day, I think, to dial in what numbers you'd need on the new product. So if Dom's like 60, he's probably right. Dom knows what he's doing. So if you put 60 in and all of a sudden it's the same equivalent, you'd probably be okay. But the thing is whether you want to take a risk or not. If you call it a risk, I don't know.
And this put. Have you got a bow on your head?
Have I got a what?
A bow.
Yeah, yes.
Oh,
it's got a pink bow.
It's the thing, yeah.
It's got pink ears.
Yeah, it's the bloody. It was the Christmas bow that we shoved up there. It was in the fish room.
Christmas bow.
Yeah, you got the Christmas bow. I shoved it up there because it was in the way in there. So I put it up there. Yeah, it's on the top of the cupboard. Yeah. And it's put. Do you use mineral salt? I do use mineral salt in with the magnesium, mate. Yeah. So that could probably help with the salinity, like you said. So I didn't really think of that, actually, to be fair. When you mix magnesium, you mix magnesium with the mineral salt as well. So I think it's like 10 of the magnesium actual grains, and I think it's 25 of the mineral salt that you mix with it. So, and then obviously you've got to put the trace elements in, which is the K on that. But yeah, it is good. It's worked. It grows with corals. The corals love it. But it's coming to the point where it's like, I could be dosing a little bit too much. And like a few of the reefers here have said, switch to the reef's elements. You can dial them down. We're selling those elements half price to clear it though through. If anyone wants a bargain, all sizes. So if you want some of the reef elements, hit Christian up. Go check him out, and or PM in on Facebook, like he's just said. So Darren, 140 to 180 a month. Golden, yeah, mate. Don't take the piss.
That's a lot, isn't it?
Mate, you know what I'm saying? It is a lot. It is a lot of money. I mean, I mean, when you work it out like that, you know, like when you sit down and think about it.
That's what I mean.
It's a lot, isn't it? You don't work it out really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I spend much less than Steve for all my.
that sums it up.
I don't believe you. I don't believe you, mate. I'm coming up. I don't believe you.
12,000 litres of tanks. He's got.
No,
must have about
I'm not having that.
50,000 litres in total. Something ridiculous.
Reef King having a big laugh about that. Yeah.
So Christian, how do you dose? What do you do? Do you use a calcium reactor, or do you use 2-part or Kaltwasser? What do you use to keep the elements dialed in?
Do you know what?
Absolutely.
He does water changes. That's one thing he does.
But, Christy, you don't want to do water changes, mate. Not
You don't want to do water changes.
I don't know where you've heard that from. Come on. To be fair, Steve, I appreciate it, Phil. Really appreciate it. I'll try my best, like you said.
To be fair, I'm only having a laugh with you, Steve.
No, absolutely, mate. Listen, definitely, mate. Like I said,
but I'm just trying to save you some money as well. That's a serious point.
No, yeah, I mean, like Sky Marine says, you know, sell some of your coral frags. I mean, really, I should do that. Really. You know what I mean? I should. I mean, those in addiction and all. Exactly. I really need to do that because, you know, invest the money back into it.
Fair enough.
Let me have a look. I'm just scrolling down now here, guys. So, gutted in. Oh, gutted in. Ha. Yeah, you're going back onto the gutted in here. That's how far I am behind. Let's see.
Oh, come on, Steve.
Yeah. Hold on a minute. Yeah. Maybe you're being
his hosting.
Yeah.
He's well up with the chat tonight.
Where were you? 8:10.
8:10.
Am I 8:10? Oh yeah, could be. Oh, that's it. Yeah.
Louis, that's it.
UK Louis Cos. Yeah, that's him. That's the chap. Good. I tell you what, very knowledgeable that guy.
Yeah,
he was good. Definitely.
He certainly likes you anyway.
Oh, mate.
Drive you around in an Aston Martin.
Yeah. Reef King, if your tank's okay, don't change it. Yeah. And exactly.
I wouldn't change your dosing. I'd keep an Aquaforest if I was doing that. I don't like the risk.
I appreciate it, mate. Dan's seen the tank. He's seen it, so yeah, I appreciate it, mate.
Yeah, but Jay, you're not spending 100 odd quid a month, are you?
Well,
would you spend 100 odd quid a month on dosing? I'm not sure I would.
No, I wouldn't. But
you know what though? You know what though?
Sums first.
But you know what though? You don't think about it. This is the thing.
You don't want to think about it. You cry.
No, because you know what you do, yeah. You know what you do, yeah.
You put your head in the sand.
Yeah. You go to the tank. You go to the tank, and you open the cupboard, and you like lift up, and you go, "Oh, hey up! I need to mix some of the powders up here, yeah." And then so you just mix them up. You don't think like, "Oh, hey up! I better go and spend another 26 quid on these solutions and stuff."
But if you just joined the chat, this is a reefing live stream. It's not about drugs.
It's not a drug factory.
Some more powder in.
He's cutting up.
Yeah. It's not a drugs. It's not a drug show.
You sound like an addict.
Yeah, I cut it up and chop it up like, oh mate, come on. No, that. Yeah, I mean, I mean, let's. I'm gonna come talk to your fish, Steve. Yeah, you come, Christian, and just have a chat with him. See what you think. Whether they need water changing. You don't need water changing.
I'd love to ask your fish if they want a water change. I'm guaranteed, right? They'd all say yeah.
Do you want a bath?
Well, you want a water change? Come on, please.
Oh yeah,
please.
Yeah. So we're on to 9 o'clock.
This yellow soup for 2 years.
Do you know what? Cronus have gone nuclear. That's why they're so big.
Hey, could be a valid point. That actually, So at 9 p.m. So what? Only 9 minutes ago, yeah, we asked the question. So signature flags, obviously, he's saying yeah. Norfolk Reefer.
What do you mean?
Yes.
Obviously, that's the right answer. Clearly,
Michael, no.
2-1, 3-1.
Cardinals love a water change, Michael.
Kim, Andy, and Rich.
3-1.
Kim, Andy, and Rich have said yes.
5-1. 5-2.
Wow.
Oh.
So that's a controversial one, right? Because Hayley's got an amazing
6-3.
tank as well. She's got a really good tank.
Exactly.
6-4.
So Hayley's got an amazing tank, yeah, and she does, and she's hit the nail on the head there, yeah. No, but she's put personal choice, and that's exactly what it is. It's entirely down to the individual. If they want to do water changes, we have no right in saying I have no right in saying don't do water changes, because I would never say that. Yeah, if you want to do water change, go and knock yourself out.
Don't you worry about me.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
My fish are going to be well happy.
Your fish are not happy, mate. That's what I'm telling you. They're not happy. I'm going to come and have a chat with your fish.
You're going to come and have a
chat. They're too hot, his fish.
Yeah. His fish are boiling.
They're fried like
boiling in clean water. That's a good thing.
Yeah, that's right. It doesn't matter. They're fried. It's clean water. Just enjoy it.
And John doesn't do water check. You know, John said he didn't do water check. He lives in Skegness, and they haven't got any. He hasn't got any water to change. You can't use the sea there. And I don't think he's got an RODI filter, so that's why he's not doing water changes.
Well, like Christine said, though, I mean, look, but he also believes reef. But I also believe reef the way that's right for you. Exactly. So it's entirely down to the individual. If you want to do water changes, do them. If you don't, then you don't need to. In my opinion, I don't need to anyway. You know what I mean? I think the majority of people here, from what I'm seeing here, Techers Reef, Cornish Reef, they're all saying yes. So listen, you know what? Absolutely go and do water changes. The majority of it. So I'm going to say probably maybe 75% of people here do water changes. That's what I'm going to work.
Your numbers. I don't trust your numbers. You don't even add up.
I was counting and he started moving around, so I don't know what the official count is.
Well, yeah. I mean. Yeah, the majority, I'm going to say about 75%, mate. But you know what? It is what it is. It's entirely down to you. And if you want to
change what you're doing, because we know what that leads to, don't we?
Yeah, exactly.
That's a fair point by Hayley there.
Absolutely, yeah. If you're replenishing all major and minor trace elements and your nutrients are under control and stable, exactly why upset the equilibrium of the water chemistry if everything is doing well? Mm-hmm. And that was my point. That is exactly what my point was just before. Was like everything was fine. It's fine in the tank, nutrients, everything. All I'm doing is I'm putting the trace elements with this stuff and the alkaline, calcium, magnesium. So I don't, and I look at it, and then like I said, if there is a tinge of yellow, which I haven't seen for a long time, in the tank, then I will put carbon in it, and within a couple of days it's gone. You know what I mean? So really, and then I just take the carbon out. Carbon out. I don't run carbon. I mean, there's many. That's a question. Do people run carbon all the time in the tank? Yes. I don't. No, I have never done it, mate. Never. Never. I just haven't done it. So I heard a lot of things. I heard a lot of things about running carbon all the time, constantly. You know what I mean?
When I first started out with it, carbon will take out any toxins out of the water.
Absolutely, it does.
From dying corals or whatever.
But if there's no toxins in it, why do you need it?
It's a safeguard, isn't it? It's a safeguard. If you've only got a small amount, you're not going to strict. So carbon takes out nutrients, but if you've got such a small quantity, it won't do that in any big way, in any significant way. And therefore, the only thing it's doing is polishing your water, which is a good thing, and potentially removing any toxins, which is also a good thing. So I don't understand, again, why you wouldn't run just a small bit of carbon in your.
But is that small little bit of carbon, which is probably like, say for instance, it says for your argument, your tank, you need to run 20 grams, say in your tank. Say for argument, right. But then you're running 5 grams because you just want that little bit.
Is it doing an effect? It's about 15 to 20 grams. By the way, as well, Paul vouched for that. You know that Red Sea Max Nano? It comes with a little bag of carbon as well.
It does come with carbon, but I never run a tank with constant carbon. I put it in from time to time, but I.
And why don't you, Paul? Why don't you do it?
I don't know is the answer. I've never done it, so I've never felt the need to. So there's no scientific reason. I mean, I've got a big tub of carbon, but I don't use it very often. Every so often, I'll put it in just to clean the water and stuff like that. But I don't run it. I don't kind of do one after the other. So it's not on rotation.
The only danger is having too much and you strip your nutrients. Other than that, if you run it in small quantities, it's only beneficial. Obviously, you've got to rinse it before you put it in. I don't understand. Yeah. It's like UV as well. I know I haven't got a UV sterilizer, but if I had a bigger tank, I would. Because again, like UV, it's only got benefits if you run it. As far as I see, it only has benefits. So I don't see why people won't do it. Are we voting on this one as well? I might be wrong here, but I mean,
look at Kevin's right there. Disadvantage of water changes: you might strip out your nutrients, phosphates and nitrates, and will cause cyano. Exactly, mate. I mean, like I said, we spoke about it, and it's entirely down to
at the start of this.
What do you mean? No, but that's only this past week, though, isn't it? It's not like over the past 3 years. It's just that's just because of those 2 days, mate, of that heat. You know what I mean? So
right, question time. This one tonight.
It is, yeah. I feel like I'm on. Yeah, what's it called? Magnuson show. What's it called?
Mastermind.
Mastermind. Yeah,
like
Mastermind.
Let's go back.
Oh no, Magnuson. He was the one who originally did it.
Yeah, years ago that was. Yeah,
years ago when I was a kid. Yeah.
Ask him about carbon, Steve. Put it. I want to see what.
Yeah. Mogsy, go get calcium reactor, mate. If I could afford it, I would do. But listen, I mean, it's either a calcium reactor or I think I'm gonna probably go with a couch stirrer. To be fair, I think it's just there's quite a few positives for the couch stirrer. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's no positives for the calcium reactor. I think it's just with calcium reactor, you need a lot more space. You need more area, and I haven't got much space. Whereas a couch stirrer, just one unit, I could take out 2 of the 5-litre drums in my tank where the dosing is, and just have the magnesium running. You know what I mean? And have the 2 drums at the back of the tank. Simple as that. It's easier to run. You know what I mean? In a sense of space wise, but. You know what? I mean, I'm going to get the holiday out of the way, and then maybe look into the new year, not New Year, sorry, towards the end of the year and see where it comes. But like I said, it's just all money in it, mate. It's everything's money in it.
What
the hell?
It's the end of the new year now with your Christmas decorations up.
Aaron Smith, where is the bearded reef recently? It's been quite, But you know what? He's doing well, Ross. He's like I said, he's just having a. It's just, he's working a lot in it. I know he's working a lot. He's working a lot away in it as well.
He has been recently,
he's just having like I said, he's just having a bit of time out. But yeah, he's definitely coming back soon. I don't know exactly when, but we miss him, and he's not the same when there's not 4 of us on here. You know what I mean? It's just it feels like you've lost one of your arms or one of your legs, doesn't it? You know, when we're on here, it just doesn't feel right, does it? You know, it's just 3 of us. So yeah, I mean, it does though, doesn't it? It doesn't feel right, does it? You know, when it, like 3 of us and stuff, and I don't know, we have guests on. I know we have guests on and stuff, but it's not the same with having like 4 of us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
we always say that. We like when all 4.
Yeah,
we do
exactly. Bogsy Aquarium, I was concerned about my zoas not growing, and yet every other coral is doing great. Found a sundial snail today, and think that's the culprit. Well, you know what? I don't know about that. Paul, you might know about that. I don't know about that.
I thought there was going to be something groundbreaking there.
No, I don't. I'm not sure about it. Sundial snail. I don't think they would irritate.
I'm just looking. I haven't heard of it. I'm just looking at what it is.
You know what else you should check though with zoas, is to make sure that there's no like aptasia in the middle of them. In the middle of them, it could be the most tiniest little microscopic aptasia in the middle of the zoas, and it will irritate them. Trust me, that will irritate them, and they won't open up. You know what I mean? Because I've had them loads of times where some of the zoas don't open up, and I'm like, what the hell's going? Why are they not opening up? And then you look at them, you pull them out, or you blow on them, with the pit with the pipet, the feeder. And the next week, you see like a little aptasia in the middle of it, and you're like, that's the reason. You're just getting stung. You know what I mean? So just check it. Just if you can pull it out, just check. But if not, then I'm not sure.
Well, what it says here is that a sundial snail, they like to feed on zoas.
Oh, right.
Well,
And
that will be it.
That's 2 or 3 different
How's that
articles.
going?
That's not
How's
just
that
one,
going?
but that's what it says.
So it's not reef safe then?
Not reef
No.
safe, no.
Not if
No.
you've got zoas.
Yeah. So get it out, mate, and
dear.
bin it. Get it out and
Bin
bin
it?
it. That's what you got to do, mate. Yeah.
We don't
We
kill
don't have
anything, Steve. Take it back to the shop.
No.
Start another. Take it back to the shops.
I'll tell you what,
zoas.
Take it round to Jake because he's feeling quite.
Cheers, mate.
Take it round to Jake.
You're hating on me because I'm questioning everything today, aren't you?
Hey, absolutely not, mate. Listen, this is a debate. This is a debate.
I don't want any, whatever it is. Culprit snails.
A sundial snail.
So basically saying when you remove it, have a look for eggs as well. I don't know what the eggs would look like, to be fair, but it does say that quite often there could be snails plus eggs. just to cheer you up.
Yeah. Well, yeah, just if you can, John, John, just take out that take out. There's obviously if it's come on a Zoa plug, yeah, just take it out and then just have a look on the underside. Yeah, I mean that's the problem with Zoas, yeah. I mean if you have an SPS or you have an LPS or something, you can take is on the frag plug. You know what I mean? We can take them off when we get like an SPS. We just take the frag plugs off and throw them, don't we, and put our own on. But when you've got Zoas, you can't do it. You can't do it.
What it says, if you haven't got any Zoas, they'll go after soft corals and LPS. It sounds like fussy.
Leave the Zoas in. Leave them in.
Bin it. Ignore Jay. Bin it. Bin it. Bin the snail. Bin the snail, mate. We don't want things like that.
How's that got it? That must be hitchhiking.
They just say it's hitchhikers.
Hitchhikers.
I mean, they're quite looking at them. Fortunately, I haven't seen them before. Yeah. Let's see if you can see.
Let's have a look. Let's have a look at these. All
right.
Oh, yeah.
So it's quite distinctive. It's quite distinctive in colour compared to other snails, isn't it?
Yeah.
They look like bumblebee snails.
No, but they're longer. Bumblebees are long, aren't they?
They're longer.
That's round. By looks of it. Oh, what's up in there? It's gone.
Yeah, it's round.
Yeah.
So that's a round snail. So they're quite distinct. I haven't really heard of them before. That's why I looked it up. But there we go.
If you guys see any of them in your tank, get them out. We don't want things like that. We don't want things like that.
So I don't know if dipping works. It doesn't say whether it does. So you could probably spot it if it was an egg, whether you'd spot it or not. But I don't know if they'd come in and actually be on the coral.
They are, Jay.
Or whether they'd be on something else.
Remember, don't change anything. If it's working for you, don't change anything.
Your man is selling you, mate. That might be why your SPS went to brown, mate.
Where's that line? I'm going to use that line back on him. Where has it gone? Something about
run your 10K you like. Also
believe the way which is right for you. Like, running carbon is the right way for me, Christian. All right, mate.
Yeah, but that might be because when your SPS strips went to brown, mate. You just never know.
Oh, here we go.
Hey, come on. You don't know. Might be running too much carbon.
Right. I'm telling you what, right? If carbon's so bad, why is an ocean reef absolutely packed full of carbon all the time?
Jay, we're talking about hundreds of billions of thousands of tons of the water, mate. Yeah, we're not talking about a 75 litre tank. You know what I mean? Yeah,
it's essential for a reef, mate. It's the building blocks.
Yeah, but just think of all the death, all the waste that's been wasted in the ocean. I mean, no, in the ocean. I mean, it's cleaning the ocean. That's what it's for. Listen, right. God put things on the earth for a reason. Everything, even the dreaded wasps. I don't know what they're on the bloody earth for. But you know what I mean? Yeah, he's put everything on the earth for a reason. So obviously, he's put carbon on the earth in the water for a reason. You know what I mean? But like Christy said, running it all the time. I can't remember where I've heard it. I heard it years ago when I set it up, saying don't run carbon all the time. Only if you have like certain issues, say for instance,
run it every so often.
Or run it every so often just to like clean the water a little bit. Yeah, but then take it out. That's what I have always done. To be fair, you know what I mean. And I sometimes I go months and months without putting any carbon in. Nothing, mate, whatsoever. So I mean, at least I'm saving money on the carbon. Yeah, that's a valid point, that mate. Valid point. But I mean,
I've got loads in my cupboard. I've got a massive tub
When I come up and have a chat to your fish, I'll grab some off you.
My carbon tub's bigger than my tank.
Probably not. He's probably not joking either.
I'm not joking.
You've got the big Red Sea one like that, haven't you? That people have on like 500-600 litres. Yeah, that's the big tub. Not quite as big, but I know what you mean. And how much of that do you use? How long is that? Is that your first tub since you bought it?
That lasted 18 months.
Yeah,
I've had that for 2 years, and it's half full.
Does it run out, that, Jay? Does that
exactly what it says on the tin, Steve. Clear water, mate. Not like yours.
there's no yellow in his tank, is there?
Like the bloke's finals at Weatherspoons.
Jay's going for a knockout punch on me, isn't he?
He's going for gold, isn't he?
Yeah, he's going for it, mate. He's going for it. Listen, next time you call a Cobra meeting, I'm going to hang up.
Cheers, mate.
Oh, mate. Listen, a few people though are saying here though, seriously, mate, I'm not lying to you. It's saying, and I think carbon removes trace elements as well. Mickey Boy's saying as well. I never knew that, to be fair. So
I suppose it makes sense. If it removes stuff from the water, if it removes things from the water, it's gonna do it regardless of what it is.
Yeah, and carbon changes regular. If you leave it in all the time,
yeah,
but it's been linked to HLE. I think it said that as well.
What's that?
UK.
HLE.
Yeah, reefs.
I do a bit more. I always research everything that I do, but obviously I do a bit more research because I don't know what the hell that is. HLE.
HLE. Yeah, I don't know either.
Yeah, I mean, listen. If you listen, if you want to run it, then fair enough. I mean, Russell's put a thing in there. He run both carbon and a UV 24/7. I have a UV in my tank. I've ran a UV since day one, mate. You know what I mean?
I bet he has a lot less issues because he's doing a lot of preventive measures there, isn't he? Really?
Yeah. You know what? Valid point, mate. Valid point. But I run my UV all the time. I've had a UV in my tank. Since day one, mate. Large one. When you have a large tank, I believe that you should have a UV. I mean, it's probably prevented my fish getting, diseases and stuff. You know what I mean? I've been very fortunate that none of them have actually caught anything. You know what I mean? But I don't want to jinx myself. But
I know what you mean. It can help. Depends on the flow rate, though, doesn't it? Because I can't remember whether it's high or low. One does.
It's lower.
Is it lower that helps?
It's lower, yeah. You've got to run it lower through it. I mean, I've got the Eheim, the smallest pump, the Eheim, whatever, on it. Yeah. What Eheim make, on my UV. So when you pull the nozzle out, it literally just comes through dead slowly, like really, really slowly, through it.
Which is what you want, though, doesn't it?
It's the time that it's in the tubes that it kills. The UV kills whatever whatever bad bugs is in it. But somebody did ask me actually. They said, would it kill like the good bacteria? You know what I mean, and stuff like that. But but it does kill.
Yeah, I must admit, on UV, we move on to UV, and people are saying yes. I mean, I run that tank, as you know, never had UV on it. I mean, I got white spot within the first 6 months when I put the tangs in, but that's not unusual. But outside of that, it was fine. Steve, you want to delete some comments there?
We've got a button, either that or
you're getting trolled, Steve.
Either that or someone's trying to pull you in, Steve.
It's always talk about powder and other stuff like that. You're getting some.
Get a grip on this. You're hosting tonight. We're getting some.
You got naked girls on there, Steve. What's happening?
Listen, long time since I've seen a naked girl.
Hell yeah.
Hey, come on, mate. What the hell's going on here? What do you mean? What do you mean? You know, yeah. What do you mean? You know, yeah. How do you know?
It's like a water change, isn't it, Steve? It's like a water change.
Where do these people come on here now? What the hell? What's all that about?
Clicking at the link.
I appreciate you commenting, but you know what I mean. Come on, now let's play ball. Let's play ball. But yeah. What was we talking about? Oh, about UVs, weren't we? We're talking about UVs then. Oh, yeah. Yeah, UV. Like I said, I've always run a UV. I think they just outweigh the pros, just outweigh the negatives of it. I know they might kill a bit of the healthy bacteria. Think of how much beneficial bacteria you have in your reef. The likelihood of it killing it all is very, very slim with the amount of flow that goes through it. You know what I mean? So, but like I said, I think it's just helped my fish, from catching any, any other diseases. You know what I mean? So.
Well,
I mean, it's well worth it.
You don't really
as long as you change the bulb.
Happen.
Yeah, exactly. You must change the bulb. I know people who's like, oh yeah, I've run my bulb for a year, but it's like anything. It's like when they run the halogen, not the halogen, the T5 bulbs and all that. Yeah, you think it's great. Listen, a bulb will continue to will keep lit, yeah, until it's run out. But the actual power of it, yeah, it diminishes, doesn't it? You know what I mean? And it's the same in a UV bulb as well. So I change my bulb out every 4 to 6 months. Take the bulb out and replace it with a new bulb. You know what I mean? Oh, the peanuts, then £8, I think. Something like that. Yeah. But it's well worth it. When you get your tank, Jay, your new big one, you must get a UV. You've got to get a UV. You know what I mean? It's well worth it.
It's not going too well at the moment. Everything's expensive now, isn't it?
It is, mate. Absolutely, for sure. Yeah, that's what HLEE stands for. Head and lateral line erosion.
Good question, that is.
Yes. Reef King, he's run carbon for years.
Yeah.
And it's usually on tangs. Yeah, HLLE. Yeah.
Oh, HLLE. Okay.
Yeah. It is on the larger fish. It's on the tang, especially yellow tangs. They seem to get it all the time. Those ones. Signature. Oh, hey, controversial. UV can be a bad thing for microbial balance. Yeah.
Yeah.
It can promote overpopulation. Well, this is it, because this is what we said. It's like it can kill. Well, it will kill any bacteria. Do you know what I mean? Passing through it, I would have thought, yeah. But it's like, you got good bacteria, but you've also I think it can kill them, yeah. But it outweighs. But the pros, think of it though, yeah. If it can kill, if it can kill the bad stuff, yeah. I'm willing to let it kill a bit of the good stuff.
The bacteria, your copepods.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then it's still good, isn't it? Really.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh dear.
I mean, Julie's got a gasping face there. Yeah, exactly.
We've never had a bot, have we? That's our first.
No, we've never had one of them. Yeah. Hey.
They don't usually bother, do they, with us? To be fair.
No. Yeah. Must have been bored, eh?
Tonight. They've wanted to put that in as well. I don't know.
Change it in the link.
Not just yet. 2 minutes past 10.
Yeah. You know what? John's just give a great thing, actually. If you've not checked out Jay's video yet, go and check it out. Go and check it out. He's done one after how many months, Jay?
3 months, mate.
3
months.
Really?
I didn't realise it was that long, Jay.
Wow.
Hating on me. YouTuber hating
on me. Wow.
Yeah, so it's because I haven't put anything out. They're like, sod off, we're not even posting your video.
So he's put it out. Go over, check it out on his YouTube, and yeah. It's bound to be a cracking one. I've not had a chance to see it, but I am going to obviously finish it. But I am going to be watching it, mate, for sure. Love watching your videos. The great fun.
Well, yeah, you go. I won't do that. I won't do that.
I won't do water changes. I won't do this. I won't do Cameron. No.
It's a nice thumbnail. That fish that you was talking about. It's a lovely thumbnail.
Yeah, it is.
On your box, isn't it?
It's a really good fish.
So, Paul, Sky Marine, when are you filling your tank, and what salt are you planning on tendering?
In the next week or two, because there's lots of other stuff that I'm doing at the moment, so I just haven't had time. So I used the Red Sea Blue. So I've been using that salt for quite a while. I started off with the Pro Salt, but as people have said, it's a high alkalinity. So I changed over to the blue bucket, and I find the blue be really good, nice and easy to mix. Usually takes about an hour to mix it up. So yeah, but I've got to sort the aquascape out first. Got the sand.
What rock are you using for your aquascape, Paul?
I'm actually using. So the very first tank I got, which was live rock. Yeah. When I closed that tank down, I cleaned it all out in bleach. and it's all sitting in a box. So I'm probably going to use that rock.
Some of that.
Yeah, so it's all in a box. It'll be fine. And so it's really porous. It's really light. So I've used real reef rock before, which is really good, but it's quite heavy. It's man-made. But what I found, and I used some of it on the 900, and I used the floating Aquascape. I used the same rock because it's really light and it's nice and porous because it's live rock. So obviously it's not live because it's been bleached and everything else, but it's really nice rock. So I mean, it's only the rockscape would be no more than about a foot. So it'd be a typical peninsula that comes along at the front now. So it's probably about a foot long in terms of the Aquascape, and then probably about 6 inches wide, and it'll be just a typical peninsula that goes high at the back and goes along, just purely because then I can fit as many corals on as I want to on that side. Lots of little hiding bit. I might raise it off with the sand by about that much so that fish can go underneath it as well. So with that kind of space, I just like lots of little holes and nooks and crannies and stuff for fish. So that's what I'm going to do. I mean, it shouldn't take too long to do for the simple reason there ain't much rock to go in it because it's not a big tank. So I've got to do that first and then fill it up and then lights off. So the lights are on just really to see what they're like.
Looks so nice there. It really
so
does look.
So I tell you what I've really been surprised on. I don't know if you can see. Look at the spread on those lights. Now it could be because of the glass and it's bouncing off the glass. But if you have a look, I mean, look how the light's coming all the way out. And it's showing a lot, but that could be because it's bouncing off of this and reflecting. So I hope the light spread's not like that when the sand's in the rock. I hope that will absorb it because it comes all the way out here. The reach is much more than the radians I had. So I had 3 radians on the other tank. So I'm just hoping it's just a reflection of the glass because there's a lot of light spill. Considering it's a really small light. It's probably about 2/3 of the size of a Radian XR15. So it's a really small diddy light. I mean, obviously I can't tell what the quality is like because I haven't grown anything yet. But first impressions, it's a nice light, nice and solid. The build's really solid. In the light.
Things about that light. You only hear good things about the reef led light.
Yeah. So I mean, it's what's the 50. So I don't know how good it is with SPS, but I'm not doing SPS in this tank anyway. So it's going to be Zoas to begin with, and then we'll go from there.
And you go in sand, aren't you?
Not so I'm going sand. I don't know if I've done the right decision because the sand looks like the colour of someone's teeth when they've been whitened. It's like it's the. Wait a minute.
Is it super bright? Is it?
Yeah, I don't like that, Steve. Do you? That look.
No, I'm not a lover of it. No, it just looks fake to me. It looks fake. Don't you think?
I think I showed it last week. It's this one.
Yeah.
So I got it because it's a small bucket.
Yeah.
So that'd be more than enough. I didn't want to get like a 10-pound bag. So I've never used this before, and it's pearl white.
Sand or paint?
You are? That's it, paint. Yeah, it's Dulux.
It was like paint from Screwfix.
I'm going to paint the bottom. So anyway, it might be a really good decision.
You're going to paint the stand.
Or a really bad mistake. We'll see.
That's Screwfix paint, that is.
Yeah, but you know what though, Paul? You can always take it out, guy. It's not the end of the world, is it?
Yeah, so I'm only going to have I'm going to have no more than about a centimetre of sand because I'm not having any wrasse, so I'm not keeping fish that'll need to go into the sand.
Yeah.
And then also with the rock, I've also got 3 pieces of rock from the old tanks that's 7 years old. It's now sitting in the other tank. So when I put that in that tank, that should seed that tank. So I'm going to seed it with 3 pieces of 7-year-old rock and also 2 or 3 cups of sand from the other tank. So that should look nice. And also then I'm going to put a bio ball in there and some other stuff. It's just got loads. And also I was thinking of put one of the pieces of sponge in the sump. So that might get some bacteria on it as well. So if I put sponges in there, so I'm trying to get as much bacteria out as the other tank to stick it in there because it might help the cycle, but that's not the point. The whole point is to put lots of beneficial bacteria in.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see
what you do with it because I think it's incredible.
So the first 6-9 months will be Zoas, and then once it's got coralline algae and things are growing, then I may change it completely. I might go NEM only with it. So we'll see.
Nice.
We'll see how it gets on. So that's the whole thing, is to experiment with that and do something completely different that I haven't done before.
A single species tank, is that what you?
So well, if I do it, I'll do NEMs and rock NEMs. So I do rock nems around the base and then ordinary nems. I don't know. We'll see. That might be the plan at the moment, but it might change. The Zoas may look really good after 9 months and think, no, I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
But we'll,
Christian's put a thing about bacteria, obviously, source of beneficial. But bottled bacteria is a very small number of and source of beneficial. Things like muds are much better than bottled bacteria. Do you still use your mud, Jay?
Yes, mate. I bought some.
Some
new mud. Yeah.
So I might get that as well.
I might give that a go.
Yeah. So what is it, and where do you get it from?
Right. I don't even know if you can get it imported anymore. So I think they might have banned it, to be honest. But I managed to get this tub. Right. Bearing in mind, I put a finger.
It's a bit like that bag of sand. It's a bit like that bag of sand for that Pico, mate.
I put like a fingernail amount in probably every 2 or 3 weeks. And mate, look how much I've bought. I can't buy any smaller.
What is that? A 2 kilo or 5 kilo? What is it?
It's 3 kilo of mud.
Wow.
It's such.
How much did that cost for a 3 kilogram tub, Joe?
This was I think it was like 25 quid.
And you're calling me with my liquid.
Yeah, I mean,
that's a live supply, isn't it, for everyone on the live stream?
Yeah. Anyway, I can't really show you. You have to. Can you see it in there?
Yeah. Is it wet or dry? Wet. Yeah.
Wet.
Yeah.
And it's.
Oh yeah. See it.
It's off the mangroves in Fiji.
You know what? I'm gonna.
Made it illegal to dig it out now and like mine it, extract it.
It's all right. We'll come and get some of you off you, mate.
I've got loads. If you want some, I'm going to sell a bag of it. If you want some.
Yeah, I want some of that, mate. I'm going to get some of that.
Some for free, mate. It'll go off before I use it all, anyway.
You might have things growing in it by the time
you can bag some stuff, bag it up and send some down, Joe.
Do you know what? It's so good for the LPS and the softies.
I might try it.
And when your tank's like crashing for nutrients, if you put this in, it just turns it straight around. I once had you could just see like the start of dinos, right? Because my nutrients were so low.
Yeah.
This was about a year ago, and I started to use the muds, and it kind of boosted it up, buffered the nutrients, and obviously added bacteria. Jobs are good, but I've got loads here. So if you need any, gents, then you're more than welcome. To
so yes, I would like to try some.
Yeah, I'm going to try some of that. I'm going to get some.
I'll post you some. All right.
I'll try some of that. Appreciate that, mate.
So when we get it, it'll be when you get it, it'll be rock solid. So you're going to put it in a bag to keep it wet.
I'm going to have to put it, I don't know. If I put it in like a sealed container, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like a frag container, where you get a pot. That lasts age. That'll last. Well, it'll go off before I can use it. So.
Absolutely.
But I got it from, Future Frags in Stoke.
Yeah.
He had 4. I think he had about 4 or 5 buckets left, and I'm like, mate, haven't you got anything smaller than that? That'll last me like years. And he's like, no, that's the only one I've got, like this size. So I had to buy it because I needed it basically. I like using it.
Yeah. And like you said, you swear by that, don't you, mate? You know what I mean? So
yeah, I think it's good.
Anyway, Paul UK Reefers in the house joined us. Nice to see you, Paul. Hope you're well, mate.
How are you, buddy?
I watched it ages ago. His last video on the coral. The growth of his tank is incredible. I swear to God. In the tank, obviously he's not uploaded a video, but he's uploaded not long ago. I think it was about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I watched it. And the Montiporas and everything, the growth of his corals are crazy. It's crazy. It's mad when you don't see somebody's tank, for a while, and then all of a sudden you see it. They post a video and you see it. You're like, what the hell? It's just like totally different. The tank, it's incredible. Done really well there with that. So nice to see you, Paul. Yeah. Let's see.
There were some comments in there about other mud that people use, the Aquaforest.
The
life source. Well, you tried that, Steve, because you love Aquaforest, didn't you?
The only reason I went off, I didn't go with that was they did. Somebody posted a video, didn't they, saying, "Look at all this," and it was when they tipped it all out, there was tons of metals in it. Yeah, loads of metal. Like put a magnet on the bottom of it and scooped it, moved it around this like plastic lid, and all the metals came to the top. There was tons, mate, in it, and I was like, whoa. I know you could there's supposed to be some sort of metals, trace metals or whatever in your tank. You know what I mean? Yeah. But when I seen that, I was like, no, I'm sorry, I don't think that all that sort of metal should be in your tank. You know what I mean? So I never used it.
You got UK Reef Bro and Andy's Reef. I don't know if anyone else is using it.
Yeah,
I'm just looking down now. Yeah, like the Aquaforest.
You put it in at night, so I might put some in a minute actually. You just kind of dissolve it into your water. You go to bed, and I'm not joking. The next morning, the corals. You know when you talked about corals being puffed up.
Yeah.
They're like that. I guess like they've had reef roids and something, and the colour as well. They're just like vibrant with colour.
Yeah.
Amazing. And
I think that
like nature's cycle. So where the mangroves are, the coral reefs sit in front of them. And they do, obviously, with the flows of the water, the river off the land and things, you get these flows or these jets of water off the reef, off the mangroves onto the reef. So it naturally happens. You know, and it is a great source of nutrients for the corals. They love it. Once you've used it, I don't think you'd not use it again.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's some comments that just come up because Christian uses it.
Yeah, Darren's put, Jay, sell me a couple of grams, fella.
I get some scales out here. It'll be like what is it, Wolf of Wall Street next, this live stream. I've got loads.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? Every person I hear about who uses the mud, whether it is that live source or whether it is that Fiji mud or whatever, everybody says, you know what, they definitely see a big improvement. And I think, hopefully, if I use it, well, I do want to use it, it's like, for my SPS, maybe it might help the SPS a lot more, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? The SPS.
Yeah, so if you ship some of that over, because then it saves us trying to look for other mud out there.
Right, here we go.
Jay's got loads of sand and rock as well.
It looks like he's going to do a magic trick. He's just got a cloth out. You're going to make it disappear, Jay.
You need to, mate. I've got loads of microfiber cloths in this room. It's ridiculous. It's everywhere.
Oh, mate.
A bit of RO. This is my mud dish here. Bit of RO.
Your mud dish.
This is the dish that I use from it. I think it used to be. Them desserts.
That's a souffle. That's a souffle cake thing.
It's a little cheesecake.
Cheesecake. Souffle pop. That's what that is. Tell you.
Let's get my mud out. It's not that exciting, to be honest, but I'll post a picture on Instagram tomorrow.
Yeah, for sure. Well, when you mixed it, we'll come back on when you mixed it, Jay.
Yeah, it's not that exciting, to be honest. I'll just do this bit.
Let's have a look. Anybody posting? Anybody saying? Mugsy, I have a tub of mud. Oh, what, Kevin? What mud do you use? Is it the same as Jay, or is it something different? Let us know. Thanks, Steve. Hey,
so how much?
That much? That's it, Jay. That I don't know what. I'm not even going to say. Yeah.
There's no mud on it. It's just all. Oh, it's a little. Oh, Jay, take that away. Sorry if you just joined. That is mud.
That's a bit too much
to clarify.
Jay, that'll last you about 10 years. That book,
mate. That lasts 10 years in my tank. Yeah.
And how often do you put the mud in the tank?
Every fortnight or something. It depends. If your nutrients are really high, then you can't use it because obviously it's a big boost to your nutrients. But every 2 weeks, I put it in. If I was a coral farmer, I'd use it more often, I think. And also if I had a bigger tank. This tank's way too small for this amount of mud. Right. So there you go, look. So it's just a bit of like a soup, basically. But it's all in suspension now. It's all dissolved in. So there's no like granular bits or anything. It's just all in suspension.
Yeah.
And then just find one of you like your pumps or your wave maker. Mate, the first time I did it, I was like, "Oh my god, what have I done?" Because your tank goes like yours, mate. Like completely brown.
So you're trying to imitate Steve's tank now, are
Yeah, you try and make your tank look as good as mine, then
I'm waiting for the waves to come on. Then the fish will be like, "What the hell's going on here?"
Yeah, you'll do it in that. Look, I mean, if you was them fish, would you want to swim in that muddy bath?
Mate, they go mad for it. To be fair, the fish wonder what the hell's going on. It's not for the fish though, is it?
It's the corals.
It's corals.
Yeah.
So now my tank's gone. I don't know if you can see because my lights have gone off. But it's gone cloudy.
Yeah.
It's gone a little bit cloudy. So tomorrow morning it'll be like the water will be gin clear, and the corals will just be feeding on the nutrients in the mud. It's amazing stuff. But I've got.
And this talking about the
aquaforest,
the life source stuff. They're trace metal.
Yeah,
right.
If you look at the comment above, one above, Christian uses it, and he does use a magnet first. Although it's the metals in there are harmless, but I suppose you just kind of thinking just take some of that out.
But Christian, why are those metals in it? Why are they in the mud in the first place? Do you know what I mean? Surely could an aquaforest take them out? You know what I mean? If they're not needed,
they must mean that they believe it's beneficial because
some metals are beneficial.
Yeah, some metals are. Yeah. So they must put them in there, but do they not think it's going to concern people?
Yeah.
So but maybe it makes such a big difference.
Listen. I mean, they're the guys, aren't they? They're not going to make something that's going to completely kill your tank, is it? You know what I mean? By putting loads of metal, I'm sure. You know what I mean? So, but for me, when I see them, I was like, whoa, no, I don't know about putting a bit of metal in a tank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just that's what steered me away from it. To be fair, the aquaforest, because like I said, you guys know me. I use every bit of aquaforest stuff in my tank. So, well, that's one of the only things that I don't use.
You'll love it. You'll love it once you've used it.
Yeah. Carl, you have shipwrecks in the sea with corals and fish. The mud might be good. Yeah, true, mate. True. I'm using Aquaforest Life Source as well. Contamination issue was a few years ago. They withdrew it, found another source, and made it available again. Right. So I take it, Howard. You're saying that you don't. Do you get metals in yours? Have you tried magnet or anything like that? Like Christian has just said, or what? Be interested to know. Reef King's put. I'm going to try the mud.
Anybody who's using mud or used mud stopped. I'd be interested to know that answer. See if anybody's gone using it for whatever reason.
You know what? I'm going to do that, and I'm going to go on it. Go and look at the Aquaforest channel to show you what's in there and how they test it. You know what I am? I'm going to do that. I'll check it and see. Like I said, they're not. Like I said, they're not going to put something that's going to kill your tank, are they? They will lawsuit them. Everybody will be lawsuiting them, won't they? So, I mean, fair play to them. They must know what they're doing. They're all clever in their department for sure. That mud will last longer than his carbon.
Well stocked up here, Jesus.
How's the Radion, Steve? Just upgrading my tank and need new, like mate. I mean, I'm not blowing smoke up their asses or anything. I'm not like that. I'm just. But you're gonna. I am. I think I have got to, mate, because you know what? It's like total night and day from the other ones that I had. I mean, they're just like on another planet. They're fantastic. I mean, some people will say like, the fans. They're a bit noisy with the fans, but I can't hear them on the fans.
You can't hear him over his tunsy.
I can't hear. Yeah,
don't talk about that. My God!
I'm glad there's only 7 minutes left of this stream, mate. You just mentioned the dreaded, like the dreaded S word, yeah, and the dreaded T word. Now we're gonna the S word and the T word. You know what I mean, mate? So yeah, no, but the lights, mate, 10 out of 10. Like I said, Jay's had Radions and Paul's had Radions for years. I'm new to him. But for all I can say is like, look at from basically a new a new user with them. They're just fantastic. The
Apart
spread is
from
like night and
the
day, mate.
connectivity,
Apart from the Mobius is a bit weird still. I mean, it does like not lose connection, but it loads up and loads up. And then I contacted Radion and said, "What's the what's all this about?" And you know what you had to do? You had to go onto the app and then clear cache. Did they tell you that? You know, clear cache. You know, where it says your clear cache thing. Yeah, you've got to clear that. Reboot it. Yeah, turn your phone off. Put it back on. It comes back on.
Yeah, it
I'm
does.
like, what the hell? I'm like, why? You shouldn't have to do that.
On an Android phone as well, it's a nightmare, mate.
But I've got to say, I got Mobius on the G4s in the garage. I think I hardly ever use it.
It works better with Apple, but
yeah, I got Apple, but I hardly ever use Mobius. Yeah. So it could be down for a month, and I wouldn't even notice a difference because you don't need it for the lights to work, do you? And I very rarely touch the lights.
Well, I change mine every Friday night.
Well, there's that. Yes, I know. So if it doesn't work on a Friday, you have a meltdown, don't you?
I do, yeah, I do.
Jake, UK Reefer saying you need more than that in it.
Oh, well, I have this thing about reefing. It wasn't me originally. So you know, Scott,
undercook it.
You know Scott from Future Frags.
Yeah,
he said for my tank I'd need a pea-side amount, so like that sort of size, pea size. So that's about how much I've put in.
Howard's put not tried the magnet stick, but to be fair, tank and all tests are good. Well, if they're coming back good, then mate, then obviously those metals you can't argue with that exactly. So, John Wright, Muggsy Aquarium, lots of mud in our skeggy sea. Yeah,
don't put that in, Jesus.
And it's cheaper than 25 quid that Jay paid.
So I saw one earlier on. Phil said about Southend. So Phil, do you live near Southend? Because you're mentioning Southend. I'm assuming you do. Put in the comments.
Yeah. Comment below, mate. Got to agree. Radions have been set and forget. Never struggle for growth and consistency, mate. Yeah. Like I said, I'm totally new to him, but Paul and Jay and the men for knowing what.
Well, I've used the Gen 2s, the Gen 3s, and the Gen 4. Jay's got the Gen 5, and you got the Gen 6. So we got, other than the very first one, we've used all of them. And I've got to say, the 2s and 3s and the 4s, the 4s are much better than the other two. So there's a massive step up. And I've noticed that because the 4's not working, that I need to sort it out. And yet the 3 I've put over is not as good. The spread is not as good on the 3 as it is the 4. So you can see as they're going through the generations how much better they're getting.
Yeah.
And whilst they got slagged off first when the 6s come out, all the reviews you see are spot on.
Yeah.
Tony's put, what do I use percentage of? I'm running a map now, mate. I think it's 41%. That's the maximum. When it eats peak, it's running at about 41%. That's it. So it's not even running at half. And the spread is like crazy. It's just, I mean, when I film it and I do an upload a video, you got to see, it's probably like yours, isn't it, Jay? You know what I mean? You've got to see it to believe it. It's like the camera doesn't do it any justice, like when you're there and you see it, it's like, wow, this is super bright. And I think I've got it's too high, this too bright. But I've gone with like my par readings from the other one, and they're coming in all at the same, or very, very similar. So that's the only reason why I'm running it at 41%, because it comes in with par readings.
And that Kelvin slider that they've added recently.
Yeah.
That's ace, that is, mate. The Kelvin slider.
Yeah, the Kelvin slider, yeah. Thanks, guys. Just need to save up, mate. It's well worth it. Like you said, I mean, obviously, this hobby is expensive as it is, you know what I mean? But if you can, if you can save up and buy them, then definitely worth it.
I tell you what, there are loads of G5s for sale at the moment.
Yeah, or G5s,
You can, I'm sure I saw a G5 XR15. Was it 200 quid? It might even have been less than that.
Yeah.
I know it's not the latest version, but they haven't been out that long, so they're not going to be old lights.
But it doesn't matter, because if you buy the G5, you can buy the G6 upgrade kit. You know what I'm saying? So you can buy a G5 cheap, and then buy the G6 upgrade kit, and then you've got a G6. You're running the top of the range, are you? It makes sense, mate. You can get G5s.
If the 4s grow SPS, then the 5s are definitely going with a better spread. And it's just a case of whether you want to save up to get the 6s or 5s are good enough.
Yeah,
but I mean,
exactly.
the prices are, I mean, the second-hand gear has just gone through the floor. You can pick up some really good bargains. We talked about that before.
Yeah, exactly. Appreciate it, Paul. Yeah, just hit the like button, guys. Come on. You spend a lot of time on these streams, and great. I appreciate it, mate.
Oh, cheers, mate.
Appreciate it, Paul. Great to see you. Anyway, absolutely. Fish Palace, Phil, you are fit. Oh, that's you. That's you, Fish Palace. I'm like, what the hell?
It is.
Phil?
It was
Phil,
me.
Yeah.
You are on the money tonight, Steve. On the money.
I'm like looking at him like, what the hell?
Who's
What's
he?
he commenting there? I'm like, what the hell? Yeah. Let's see, just quickly because we're running out of time. Metal in some carbon. Don't buy cheap. Exactly. Don't buy cheap. Let's put John right. Always thank you. How quick has that gone?
I know.
Wow,
Julie's
that's gone so fast. That.
Yeah.
It's gone
I've got a brand new Evergrow IT 502 upstairs. Got it from a tank, then bought Radions instead. Yeah, absolutely. And Julie has hit the nail on the head. Last orders at the bar. Absolutely.
I know, last orders is gone, hasn't it? This is.
I suppose it's 10.
Wow.
We should have last orders at 10 to 10, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah,
that's gone so fast. That's gone really fast. Hey, well, we've learnt a bit today, haven't we, guys? You know what I mean? We've learnt quite a bit. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna go do an overview of everything, but it's we've learned quite a bit about everybody's tanks and what we should buy and what we shouldn't. But really enjoyed it, guys. And like you said,
yeah, it's
thanks for tuning in, guys. Every Friday, I know you could do maybe better things, but you choose to join us and have a good laugh. And we really appreciate it. You know what I mean? So. But anyway, next week it's going to be my final week, and I think is it going to be your final week, Jay, as well for the not forever. Oh, you're not on next week.
I'm not on. Oh, no, I'm not.
Oh,
I've got.
Well, I'm going to be on
3 weeks.
Oh yeah, Jay's going away, and then I'm going away the week later. So obviously we're going to be struggling. But I'm sure Paul. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, no. But yeah, really appreciate it. So it's going to be on your channel, is it, Paul? If not,
I think so next week. We'll sort something out. Yeah.
We'll sort some out. So go over, check us on our Instagram, and we'll let you. Well, you'll be able to see whose channel it's going to be on. But once again, guys, have a great weekend. Really appreciate it for joining, and we'll see you next Friday. Take care, guys.
Have a good one.